things like people like black men like Donald Trump because he's real, he's transparent, and he just tells it like it is. And they feel like Biden, doesn't. I guess what they're saying, he has this kind of male bravado, this hubris that they don't find that Joe Biden has. Do you think that is resonating with some portion of the black male voters? And is it any more than what we've seen in the past?
Hey, Areva, it's good to see you. Yeah, I mean, I think that the last part of your question is the key part, right? You always have some number of black folks, male or female, right? But for now, let's talk black males. You've always had some black folks who, voted for Trump in 2016, voted for Bush in previous years. I'm old enough to remember, Bush and his faith-based initiative where he was trying to get a whole bunch of black churches to vote conservative and vote Republican. And so you've always had some number of black folks that were willing to do that. Just as, I'm reminded that you often would even have some black folks in a slave plantation that would turn in the people planning the slave rebellion, right? So we've always had some number of those folks, right? And that number is not increasing significantly in spite of all the talk, in spite of, whatever random polls that they do showing, 22% of this and that. And that's not happening, right? It didn't happen in 16. They said that it would happen in 20. It didn't happen then. It didn't happen when they scraped up Herschel Walker to run in Georgia because they figured surely black men will vote for another black dude that used to run around with the football and was a hero and Heisman Trophy and all that. And he didn't get 20% of black men. It's not happening because black men and women are smart enough to look past, a black football player or a rich guy, the braggadocio, all this stuff that you were mentioning, right? We're smart enough to look past all that and look past like a couple of rappers that might be talking fondly about Donald Trump. We're smart enough to look past that because at the end of the day, all the things that Mondale pointed out, right? His racist past, his racist presidency, an entire party really, which has really ceased to become a party, is really just the country's largest hate group running on policies that go against the interests of black folks. That's what it is that determines how black folks, male and female, are going to vote. Who is talking about our issues? Who's talking about our healthcare? Who's talking about economic justice? Who's talking about reparations? Who's talking about police reform? And all those issues, whether it's Trump or more broadly, the people in his crew, they're all pushing policies that are literally based on white supremacy and anti-blackness, from ending affirmative action, attacking DEI, attacking black history, attacking voting rights. So no, some gold shoes are not going to make black men vote for Trump. A mugshot is not going to make black men vote for Trump.
Threshold from a felony to a misdemeanor. But as Cliff said, it went all around the world and people started blaming black mayor in San Francisco, London Breed, for having changed the laws and now just opened the floodgates and opened the doors for all folks to go and steal at Nordstrom's, Macy's, etc. And it was just plain out wrong. But she has paid a price for folks who now believe that she has not done anything to, protect the businesses, the big businesses, the small businesses from this kind of theft. So this stuff is real and it has real consequences.
Yeah, it does. But I mean, not with the demographic I'm concerned with. Let me be clear. My brother Cliff is an ambassador when it comes to worried about or making sure that people's feelings aren't hurt. Charlemagne the God is not a voice that people should be taking serious. The black men that I'm engaging with think that guy's a joke because he plays with issues that are too important to our community. So we need to say that. And I think I start right there. When we're talking about influencers as it pertains to this demographic, there are not a lot of influencers that can move these black men. If famous people would have worked in 2016 when Hillary Clinton had when Hillary Clinton had Jay-Z and Beyonce do a concert in Philadelphia, black people wouldn't have not stayed home, black men specifically, after the concert. Yeah, they enjoyed the concert, but that's not how they take their information. Black men don't see anybody as their leaders. When we poll in brothers, over 70% of them think that they're the most important person in their community as it pertains to their decision on to do something or not to do anything. Secondly, We still have people using tactics that were created in the 60s for a black man from the 60s. We are in 2024. 80% of black men don't go to church. 80% of black men don't go to church. So I don't care when Donald Trump is sitting with black preachers. And black preachers know that he's milking, that whoever the black preacher sitting with Trump, know that he's milking Trump because he's disconnected from our community. Because he know his congregation is filled with sisters of all ages, but it ain't a lot of brothers in there. Those are not the people that are motivating black men. Black men tell us that they get their information that they trust and believe from trusted messengers, from people extremely close to them, which means politics for black men are extremely local, like in their circle, local. And also from outsources or outlets that people ain't even thinking about. So I'm concerned with AI, as Cliff was talking about, why I'm concerned with voter suppression tactics, why I'm concerned with misinformation. I'm more concerned with the lack of investment in black men because it does more harm. We talk about all of these voter suppression tactics, and no one ever talks about the number one voter suppression tactic for black men, and it's poverty. Is poverty. So if we're not really talking about issues or addressing black men, and black men don't see the vote as a tool to address what's plaguing them, it don't matter what they're being told. Black men don't fall for dumbness. And Cliff said it earlier, we are not a monolith, but we vote monolithically. Regardless of what demographic black people find themselves in financially, we vote like a block. We're the only demographic in the country that shows up in that manner. Nobody does that. Nobody. But we spend a lot of time talking about the 8 to 12% of black people that don't follow the rule that the most of us do, which also tells us that the world still believes that black folk should not have the right to think for themselves, because that's what the conversation should be about. We're talking about 8 to 12% of black people that might not vote for progressive or for our communities, and they vote for themselves. So I think that's a problem for me. It also says that black people can't be conservative, maybe. And I think we need to address that. Furthermore, I go a step further. Nobody is an expert on black men in this country. The black men that don't see themselves in politics are an untapped, unresearched source. Every tactic that we're using has a down or a pull on the voters as it pertains to black men because it's transactional. And we are not saying that in a way that's honest. And I think that problem freaks me out when I see so many money, billions of dollars being spent on the same consultants cycle after cycle to say the same thing about the failed tactics. If the Democratic Party or any progressive auxiliary looked at itself as a business, they would clearly say that their consultants are failing them when this large percentage of their base don't participate in their elections.